All right, guys, I'm about to age myself here. One of the first rap albums I ever had was actually LL Cool J, Bigger and Deffer. I mean, guys, I think I actually had this thing on record because I remember when I was a little kid, we didn't have a CD back in those days. I don't think CDs were actually out until a little bit later. But I know for sure that I had Full Force, Get Busy One Time, if you guys remember that. We actually had that on record. We actually had a record player. We did have cassettes too. But when it came to LL Cool J, I remember I'm Bad. Everybody had that. Everybody wanted the Kango, the gold chains, that kind of thing. LL is only 55 years old. So he was really, really young back in the day when that actually came out. I believe he had to be something like 19 years old, maybe, something like that. LL was big back in the day. One of the greatest rap artists of all time. That's actually going to bring us to one Beijing Biden now. Because Joe Biden now is a racist. Not just now, but we already knew he was a racist. This man always says racist stuff. He's been saying racist stuff for the past 50 years. But yet, he's never ever really called out on his racism. And when they do, they just give him a pass. He does this all the time. What he did with Charlemagne, man, the media really should have came down on him hard. But the media, they kind of zipped it up because they wanted Trump gone. Even though they called Trump a racist all the time, they never called Joe Biden a racist. 50 years. How much evidence do you need that Joe Biden is a racist? I mean, I've seen enough. Racial jungle. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. I don't want my kids to grow up in a racial jungle. Yeah, those are the words of Joe Biden right there. Joe Biden. Somebody needs to call this man out. Of course, I always call out Joe Biden because I'm not a fan of Beijing Biden. This man needs to be gone, man. And we got some devastating news here for Joe Biden on the polls. Because this ABC poll is saying that basically Joe Biden is cooked when it comes to Donald Trump next year in 2024. I hope so. But I'm not going to get my hopes up because I will never, ever, ever underestimate the Democrats. I won't. But back to Joe Biden being a racist here because, guys, I got to tell you, I don't know if I've actually said this before. I would much rather be called the N-word than to be called a boy. I mean, being called a boy, that really does belittle a man right there. I mean, maybe there's other black guys who feel the same way. I would much rather be called the N-word than a boy. No, I'm a man. I'm not a boy. And it's quite different, than like saying we're boys. That's a different expression right there. Maybe some of you guys, English isn't your first language. When somebody says we're boys, that's just an expression saying that, hey, we're friends. That's different right there. But being called an actual boy is pretty despicable. Especially, when it comes from people like Joe Biden. Because this man has referred to LL Cool J as boy. Here we go, guys. Post-millennial here. Biden refers to rapper LL Cool J as boy. Quickly corrects himself to say man. Now, Joe Biden was actually virtue signaling in front of the Congressional Black Caucus, and I'm pretty sure that those Democrats said nothing to Joe Biden about this because they just take it, man. Black people will take racism from Democrats all the time, but yet they'll believe that a conservative or somebody on the right is always racist. They'll believe anything that Democrats tell them. It is disgusting, man. But let's go ahead and read some of this here before we watch the clip. It says here, Beijing Biden has once again referred to a black person in what people in his own party consider to be a derogatory manner, this time referring to rapper LL Cool J as boy on Saturday after he had just butchered his name during a speech to the Congressional Black Caucus. Yeah, he couldn't get LL Cool J's name right. He probably doesn't even know what LL actually stands for. It actually stands for Ladies Love Cool James. His actual name is James Todd Smith. He goes by LL. And when I was a kid, guys, you never saw LL without the Kango. I believe we went close to like 15, almost 20 years before we actually saw the head of LL. I remember this movie that he had with Gabrielle Union. I can't remember the name of it. I believe he actually showed his bald head. But before that, always had the Kango on. But anyway, let's go ahead and listen to this old ass racist Joe Biden right here refer to LL as boy. Let's roll this.
And two of the great artists of our time representing the groundbreaking legacy of hip hop in America, LL Cool J. By the way, that man's got biceps bigger than my thighs. I think he's been.
And it's laughing
and MC
too.
Light, both of you, thank you. Because they both have the light off on the mic, you know you're all here to listen to the new edition. Mike Bibbins, 40 years producing music that lifts our souls.
Yeah, Beijing Biden doesn't know who these people are. These people wrote this down for him. He may actually be reading off a teleprompter. I mean, LL Cool J, if you actually knew hip-hop music, you would never, ever call this man LL J Cool. This is a virtue signal by Joe Biden. But yet he referred to this man as boy, which is so disrespectful. Now, look at this here. Down here, it even mentions on Cory Booker actually calling out Beijing Biden for actually using stuff like this in the past. This ain't the first time, man. Because back in the days before civil rights era actually kicked in, racist white men would actually call black men boys. They never referred to them as a man. They always called them boys. Say, hey, what you looking at, boy? That kind of thing. Look here. The outlet pointed out that the term boy used to describe black people is considered a racial epitaph. And this was not the first time Biden has referred to a black person with the slang term. Democrat Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey called out Biden for using the word boy in an attempt to try to win over voters during his campaign for the 2020 presidential election. Biden frequently used the word when describing his ability to work with segregationist senators. And guess what? See, this is why I'm not going to get too hyped up about this poll that we're talking about. Still, no matter what, Beijing Biden still got a lot of black people to vote for him. Look here. Senator Booker did not find Biden's words amusing and said in a statement, quote, "You don't joke about calling black men boys." Additionally, Biden used the word boy to describe Maryland's first black governor, Wes Moore, earlier this year, according to the Post. As the Post-Millennial previously reported, the term boy was used mainly in the American South by white adults to refer to black males of any age, both during and after the era of slavery. Many sensed using the word boy, the speaker saw whoever they were addressing as less than them, unequal in the world, an adult speaking to a child. But of course, Beijing Biden didn't care. And the thing is, man, black Democrats don't hold him accountable. They will just believe the lies of Democrats. Say, hey, Trump's a racist. Vote for Biden. Okay, we'll go out and do it. But now let's get to this poll now, because things may not actually be looking too good for Biden here. Actually, guys, if this actually holds true here, Joe Biden is cooked in 2024. Look here. Donald Trump takes massive 10-point lead over Beijing Biden in latest ABC Washington Post poll. Yeah. And this is the thing right here. The younger demographic, which you would actually think would actually be more friendly to Biden, 18 to 35. Now, that's kind of a wide range there. They have Trump beating him 53 to 38%. This is awful news here for Joe Biden. I mean, this man would just be done if this actually does hold up true. Now, this is one poll. This could actually be an outlier here. And remember, these polls, man, for the most part, they tend to lean left. So we've seen somewhere then a tie which actually really means that Trump is probably leading by like 3 points or something like that. Or if you see, I can't think of too many polls now where Biden is actually up. I really can't. I mean, these are left-leaning polls here, and they're saying that Joe Biden is in major trouble. And I do believe that he is in major trouble right here. Look at this here. ABC News reported that Trump's share of support is up 3% since a previous survey in February, while Biden is down 2 points. Yeah, Joe Biden is crashing and burning right here. It is bad, guys. Look, it's so bad that really Democrat voters don't even want Joe Biden. Look at this here. 54% of Republicans want Trump. 43% want other candidates. Now, the Republican bench is way deeper than the Democrat bench. The Democrats really don't have a bench. And this ain't just coming from me. This actually came from other Democrats as well. But look at this. Only 33% of Democrats or leaning Democrats want Beijing Biden. 62% want someone else. And look at this. 2024 vote preference, 51% Trump, 42% Biden. This leads me to believe, guys, that I'm not saying that black people, for example, are actually going to go out there and vote Trump. But I think it's clear. People are not enthusiastic to actually go out there and vote for Biden. Black people aren't going to... I don't believe you can actually sell Biden on black people this time around. I don't think you can. Now, black people are going to do one or two things. They're going to go out there and vote Trump, or they may just sit out. Either way, that is bad news for Biden right there. Extremely bad news. Honestly, guys, I don't know anybody, regardless of race, that is hyped up for Joe Biden. Nobody. None whatsoever, man. This man's in trouble. And I don't know what the Democrats are going to do. You know, maybe it's actually going to be Gavin Newsom, because Gavin Newsom just rejected one of the most woke bills out there in California from his progressives. Because I was thinking, you know, maybe they're actually going to put this in law if Gavin Newsom actually signs it when it comes to, hey, judge should actually weigh in on gender transition, you know, for kids. If the parents don't want it, that should actually, you know, come into play in these custody cases. Gavin Newsom said no. This man's probably running for president, because the thing is, that's such a far left position. If he actually signed that into law and then he actually started running for president, oh, Trump could actually use that against him, because we know that the vast majority of Americans aren't down with that type of a radical agenda. Like, Trump was actually taking some heat from people on the right when it came to what he actually said about abortion. Kristen Welker actually asked him, would you actually sign into law a 15-week abortion ban? And Trump said he would come up with something that both sides would actually like. Now, when I heard that, I'm thinking, for me, myself, personally, I'm like, just ban it outright. Ban it, except in, you know, the rarest of rarest cases right there, like health of the mother. That's me. But also, I'm not running for election either. Trump has to appeal to more moderates. And I believe that's what Trump is doing. And this is why you're seeing like Trump taking the lead, because if this was just a, you know, a completely right-wing country, yeah, you could do it. But the country ain't really like that. Look what happened in the midterms, man. So Trump has to appeal to more moderates. And he really should have just said, you know what? The Supreme Court has already decided abortion. It's a state rights issue. And I would actually have no problem with him actually saying that. I don't. Because the thing is, man, if he actually does go in and sign, I believe, like any type of abortion law, once the Democrats get into power again, let's say the Republicans took over, and we know everything's going to be in a cycle. You're going to have Democrats in power, Republicans in power. Democrats could easily go in and change everything again. So I'm good with just leaving it as a states' rights issue here. But that's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.